Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of your Westland City Council to order. We will begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Antoinette Martin.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Martin, for leading us in the pledge. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bauman.
Present.
Councilwoman Martin. Present. Councilwoman Rakowski. Here. Councilwoman Sampe.
Here.
Councilman Sullivan.
Here.
Pro Tem Maxwell. Here. Council President McDermott.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Okay, so we have no special announcements and presentations tonight, so we will now move on to questions or input on the agenda from the public. This section will allow members of the public at the beginning of the meeting to address the council regarding items that are on tonight's business agenda. Questions asked may be responded to during the agenda item following a motion and support from your city council. Is there anyone on my right? Yes. Yep.
Good evening. I'm here to speak about my support for the moratorium on data center construction in Westland for 6 months. My support primarily comes from the fact that many people are researching now and finding that data centers are emitting harmful infrasound, which poses a public health risk and is hurting the populations around data centers as they're being built. They're causing rate increases of electricity, water usage, among other issues. This moratorium, I believe, will provide us ample opportunity to study the effects, understand what the risks are, how to mitigate them, cost benefit, et cetera, and how we can make sure that this is an improvement to the lives of people in Westland and surrounding areas, and not just a corporate benefit to the detriment of everyone else. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone on my left? Mr. Warren?
Yeah, good evening. I almost skipped by that one on the new business. Now, have we had any inquiries about data centers coming here? That's the thing I want to know. And what happens after 6 months? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Anyone else in the audience? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will close public comment on the agenda and move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Sampe, supported by Councilwoman Rakowski. Are there any changes to the consent calendar? Any changes to the consent calendar? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items: minutes of regular meeting held February 17th, 2026, minutes of study session held February 17th, 2026, approval of S3 licensing subscription relating to assessing GIS information and connecting data through CityWorks. This vendor is considered a sole source. Service subscription renewals with Civic Rec, Civic Pay, and Document Management, term to be effective for a 1-year period. Appliance lease renewal associated with the city's existing Dark Trace limited security device. Due to our existing appliance being available through Dark Trace, this vendor is considered a sole source and term to be effective for a 1-year period. Web hosting services subscription with Civic Plus LLC to maintain the city website domain. Bid for professional services related to the golf course netting project at Mac Mayfield Municipal Golf Course. And the last item on the consent calendar is prepared proclamation to proclaim the month of March 2026 Disabilities Awareness Month in the city of Westland. Moving to payment of voucher.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Martin, supported by Councilwoman Rakowski. Is there any discussion from the maker?
No.
Any discussion from the supporter?
No.
Any other discussion from the council? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business item number 1, set public hearing date for proposed 2026-2027 budget. Administration suggests public hearing date of May 4th, 2026.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Baumann. Is there support? Supported by Councilman Sullivan. Any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter? Any additional discussion from the council? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business item number 2, adoption of prepared resolution to establish a 6-month moratorium on new data processing and computer centers.
So moved. Support.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Rakowski, supported by Councilwoman Sampe. Is there any discussion from the maker?
Thank you, Council President, and I'd also like to thank you for bringing this forward. There's been a lot of talk in the news lately, in the media lately, about data centers and their impact on the lives of the people that live around the surrounding areas. And I'd also like to highlight the comments that were made by one of our attendance members at the beginning of our meeting. So I think it is important that we pump the brakes regardless of how much interest our community may or may not have had by these corporate sorry, I have a retainer. Corporate entities that would be interested in coming in and building those. But again, having the time on our side to be prepared, make smart decisions, and make smart ordinances to protect the livelihoods of our residents is all of our jobs and our priorities here. So again, thank you, Council President, for bringing it forward, and I will be in support of the moratorium.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And is there discussion from the supporter? Yes, Councilwoman Sampe.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rakowski. A lot of what you talked about is also what I was going to mention. And Council President, thank you for bringing this forward. I know it's something that we've talked about. In Westland, we don't have a lot of options for data centers. So typically what they do is they look for very rural areas where they can build, because they're large buildings. So in terms of a data center, I don't anticipate that they would actually come to Westland. I know that they are kind of dipping their feet in different municipalities, and Westland probably isn't a desired location. That's just my thought. But in terms of making sure that this doesn't come to Westland, Council President, I would just ask that in about 4 months, we reevaluate. It had been brought forward that this is a 6-month moratorium, so I think we need to look for a long-term option for Westland. So I would just ask that you and Council President Pro Tem put that on your radar screen. Let's see how many inquiries we have received. I don't believe, speaking with Mo Ayoub, that we have any, but perhaps we look at just doing a final moratorium, so they're not allowed here at all. So with that being said, I'm obviously in support of this, and I appreciate those that spoke this evening on it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sampe. Councilwoman Baumann.
Yes. So I'm going to start, I am in support of the moratorium. I will share that first. I actually recently watched and as I brought the conversation to Council President, watched City of Southfield just get approved a couple months ago for a much smaller size. And it was one of these things where it got me interested, got me curious, like, well, if they're going to be doing smaller sizes of these data centers and putting them in these more dense municipality areas, what are we doing? And so that's where the questions came up. What do we have in our current ordinances that allow or put parameters, or what would it look like in our city? And so the purpose of the moratorium was simply to say, right now, we have no parameters. We don't have anything to say what council can or can't do, which would mean that there's always that possibility. As I understand it, nothing has come forward, but this is what makes it the perfect time to be looking at something like this and saying, okay, hold on, let's take a look. We're seeing the trending, we're watching trends that are happening in other areas and other dense municipality areas, not just rural areas, and what's going on, and what can we do. And part of the thing is we can't say no. That's one of the things that you can't do. It's a business. They have the right to do that. They can come in these cities and private business to come in. But can we put some parameters on that either makes it okay or makes it work in a certain area, or if the parameters where someone can't meet those kind of things? I have had discussions with people that indicate that, I've got to say that, you have to balance the whole, is this good for our city, is this good for our community, with the economic value of what that organization, that company, that whatever the company is, business, will bring to our city. So it is the value, and that is the job of us as council, is to evaluate that. What would this look like? But slowing it down and saying, yes, let's put some parameters around this so it's not just something that happens, oops, kind of thing. We actually can sit there and say, no, we have to be involved in that process. And that's where I am in support of the moratorium. And I would say how I see the 6-month laying out is that gives us time to put that ordinance forward, have the study sessions, have the, all the process that we have to do to put an ordinance in our to approve an ordinance. And I believe that there's even public hearings and all that kind of stuff has to happen. So that gives us this time. I would say if we can't get that done in 6 months, then maybe we have to do something where we would say, okay, let's extend this a month or whatever we need to do that. So that's where my position on these would go. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Baumann. Councilwoman Martin.
I'm going to read this because I try to keep all my thoughts together when I was putting it together. I was a little surprised this showed up. It only showed up a couple of days ago that they were going to do this moratorium. And I'm for it. I mean, I'm okay with doing a moratorium so that we have the time to research it. But as I understand it, the purpose of the moratorium is to direct the administration to find and clarify what the data center development will be permissible within our city. I'm hopeful that the measure will intend to ensure deliberate review of all relevant considerations. While the term data center often generates significant political discussion, it's important to recognize that all data centers are not alike in size, scope, and impact. And quite honestly, we already have data centers in Westland. I hope people know that. And I'm actually one of the people who, back in the 70s, worked in a data center back by the Rouge plant, so I'm kind of a little familiar with them, not with the AI part, of course. It's worth noting, as my colleagues have said, that Westland already has data centers within the city. The current discussions appears to focus on large-scale or mega data centers, which typically people envision when the term is used. It's further understanding that our largely built-out and landlocked status, Westland may not be able to have necessary accommodate anything within this magnitude. So that's a good thing in a sense. I look forward to reviewing the administration's recommendations once they're presented. At this time, however, I'm not aware of any business that contacted the city expressing interest in large-scale data centers in Westland. And I was also told today that already in our industrial, that in our codes or ordinances, that data centers are included in the industrial parks. So that's just an FYI. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Is there any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? So I will say a couple of things. You know, the data centers that we are largely talking about today that are being developed, for example, data centers that Elon Musk is building for SpaceX and for some of his other projects are very large-scale data centers. And while it may be true that other than the airport property here in Westland, we don't have a ton of vacant land to do that kind of data center, we want this to be a preventative action. We got into a situation a few years ago with another business here in the community that was poking around and showing interest before we were able to get any kind of regulatory provisions over that type of business. For those that were on council, may remember this with the Octapharma plasma situation. And every time you drive now at Ford Road and Wayne, you will see that blood plasma center. And I think if you had asked everybody on council at the time, many in the administration and in the community, they wanted something a little nicer at a prime piece of real estate like that than a blood plasma center. And so what we're trying to do with this resolution here tonight is get our arms around a data center so that we can put in some future regulatory measures in terms of defining what we mean when we say data center and how we want to regulate that from a zoning perspective. And I think one of the things that will potentially come up under discussion are things like, you know, special land use provisions for the council when it comes to data centers. And I think the reasoning we want to look to limit these large-scale data centers is because there are a number of issues that when you watch documentaries and when you read articles and when you hear firsthand information from folks who are in some of those communities that have to deal with those data centers, there are issues around noise pollution that was mentioned earlier by one of our members in the audience, one of our residents. There are issues around electricity consumption, and especially here in our community where we deal with an older power grid and aging infrastructure, and a lot of residents who already fight with blackouts time and again, thanks to DTE and the aging grid. I think it's important to take a look at that as well. And then there are some issues depending on the technology of the data center itself, the type of data center that it is, around water consumption. Not all data centers are created equal. Some use far less power. Some use minimal to no water consumption, any more than your standard business, commercial or industrial business would use. But there are types of data centers out there that do have a larger power and water consumption. So I think this moratorium allows us to kind of get our arms around that here over the next 6 months. And I appreciate the work of my colleague, Councilwoman Baumann, and my colleague, Councilman Sullivan, who both approached me about doing something on data centers. And I appreciate all of my colleagues who are going to be, looks like, largely in support of this measure tonight, and everybody in the audience and the community who came out in support of this tonight. Thank you as well. Is there any other discussion from the council? Yes, Councilwoman Samby.
Thank you. I just want to clarify, I know as it was mentioned about that we do have data centers. So we do have a large data center that partners with like a Microsoft and a few other partners for storage of information, but we don't have an AI data center, which is when you see the news in other cities, that's what they're pushing right now, which is our issue, and I think that's something that we had brought up as a council collectively, that we really want to limit that in our city because of all the adverse effects that go along with it. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sampe. Any other discussion from the council? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing, seeing none, motion passes. Okay, so short and sweet tonight, so we're now on to public comment. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers should refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the orderly conduct of the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers, or members of the public do not promote civil discourse. Comments shall be directed to the chair and not to people in the audience. The chair shall call to order any person who is being disorderly by speaking when not having been recognized by the chair or is being disruptive to the proceedings. If any person, after being called to order, continues to be disorderly, causing a public 13 disturbance, the chair may order that person be removed from the meeting immediately. Is there anyone on my left? Yes, Ms. Moore.
Good evening. A couple of weeks ago, my husband and I received a phone call from Ford Vocational Tech from the chef. She wanted to know what we could do to get the information out that the cafeteria they have is open. So I'm here to let you know they serve lunch from 11:45 to 1 o'clock, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And breakfast is from, let me see. Breakfast is from 8:15 to 9:15. The menu change every week. And you can't go anywhere else in the city or in the state and get a meal for under $20. And I highly recommend that you go over there. The students are very polite, and the chef comes out and speak to you. And like I said, the menu change every week. And I personally have been 3 times myself already, so I highly recommend it.
Thank you, Ms. Warren. Is there anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Yes, Ms. Sedman.
Hello, good evening, and some of you I have not met on the council. This is Denise Sedman, and I'm a resident of Westland. The reason I'm up here is because I sent a specific email to you, Council President, with a copy to the other council members regarding the cost of the Nankin Amphitheater Center. And because the council, before this council here, I think it was even through Mayor Wild, voted to approve the money that TIFA and ARPA funds for the park as opposed to like a water tower or rec center or whatever. So, and since you're using my federal tax dollars, even though they're in a form of TIFA or ARPA or whatever, I would like to have an accounting of those funds, how they were spent, and how we used the money, allocated it, and then if there's money that has been accumulated now compared to if we have money in the budget for future maintenance and things like that. So I don't know, will somebody address that at the comments?
Certainly, we can also send you an email probably to get your breakdown.
Okay.
Yep, that's
All
not a
right.
problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Yes, Ms. Wilson.
Lori Wilson, Annapolis Park. I just want to thank the police department and the fire department for your quick response to my neighbor who lives directly across the street from me, Mr. Avery. Although he did pass away, the paramedics and the police were just like that. They did their jobs, and we truly respect and thank you for that.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Is there anyone else in the audience? Yes, sir.
How you doing? I'm Joshua Charlie. I'm a young council member of the community, and I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm gonna try to come up here a little bit more and get involved in the community and see where my funds are going to, and keep you guys in check, I hope. So I hope you guys have the rest of your day, a good day. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Anyone else in the audience? Mr. Warren. Yeah, happy birthday, Mr.
Well, anyway, let's put it this way. I don't know. I'm not sure what the, well, I'm thinking that the comments that my wife made was probably for me not to have breakfast at home or lunch anymore. Okay? So, yeah, so, well, we'll see about that. But anyway, we've just ended Black History Month. And I think that I just want to make a suggestion that if we want to talk history, we do have a historical commission. And I think that you should hand that over to the historical commission because from what I could see on TV, that practically had nothing to do with history. So it's just an idea. Since you pay the historical commission to meet, and they deal with history, particularly Westland history, let them handle it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Anybody else in the audience?
Mike, can I make a comment? No question.
No, sorry, Ms. Levin, we'll come talk to you
I
afterwards.
didn't even use all my time.
I know we can't have you come up twice. I'm sorry, we can't let people come twice. Mr. Stachow. Sorry, Ms. Levin, I'll come talk to you afterwards.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to congratulate somebody.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, Police and Fire Chief. Chiefs, I just want to give Chief Dowley kudos for the work they're doing on Cowan at the flashing stop signs. Still should put some speed humps down that road. I don't care who lives down there or what, but a lot of people still running and, a little quicker than 25 miles an hour. Also, I hate to do this, but it's probably going to be in a water bill this month with your okay, Mayor. We are in planning stages of the Memorial Day Parade. We've already had one meeting set up, and there's going to be another meeting. And look on the city's website. The more people that we have participate, the better it is. It's your parade, our city, to honor our fallen veterans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stachow.
I forgot one last thing. I'd like to wish my brother Art Warren a happy birthday.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience? Going once, going twice? Okay, we will close public comment and move on to comments from the administration. Mayor?
Thank you, City Council. Thank you, everybody in attendance tonight. Happy birthday, Mr. Warren. I did not realize it was your birthday, so thank you for being here. And thank you for all your contributions to the city. Appreciate you. Ms. Wilson, I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your neighbor. My condolences. And some sad news to share. We lost one of our longtime library board members last week, Gary Chappelle. Yeah, it's bad news. Gary was a great guy. He really cared a lot about the city. He's lived here a long time, and he'll definitely be missed. And his son, Brandon, is a valued employee of our DPS department. So we extend our deepest sympathy to all his family and friends. On a good note, I'm excited to share that our congressionally directed spending request to the federal government for Fire Station 4 to the amount of $2 million was approved by the House, by the Senate, and signed by the President recently. We advocated for this when we were in Washington DC back in January, the deputy mayor and I. It'll certainly be an important piece of the funding stack to get us to full funding to rebuild Fire Station 4 to serve the the southwest portion of the city of Westland. So it's an important project, and I want to personally thank Congresswoman Tlaib and Senator Alyssa Slotkin for their hard work and sponsorship of that funding for our city. On that note, we have some big projects coming up in the city, and we'll continue to aggressively seek federal, state, and county funding for as much as we can get done. Our tax dollars as a city move up through the federal government, the state government, and of course Wayne County as well. So a big part of what we do on a daily basis is communicate with our legislators and other government officials to advocate for projects that we're doing here in the city. Spend the money wisely on important services. Rebuilding our fire department to the wonderful department that it is today has been a big priority for our administration and city council as well. So thank you for all your support so far of everything we're doing. And Chief, thank you, and thank you to all the great men and women who work over there. The city was also awarded $30,000 through state and local cybersecurity grant program by the state of Michigan and FEMA. So this is more grant funding. This provides the city with additional funds to assess our cybersecurity protections and plan the management of any changes needed to make our cybersecurity more secure. The Department of Innovation and Technology works 24/7 to ensure the security of the city's technology and data. This grant will help them continue with that mission, and I want to thank Director Craig Brown and his team for actively searching for and putting in the effort to procure these types of grants whenever possible. Thank you, Director Brown. As you know, March is Reading Month. I'm honored to be invited to several schools throughout the city to read to the students. We've created a book. Our communications team has created a Westland, Oh, the Wonders of Westland You Know, kind of like a Dr. Seuss style coloring book with a special message from me. It lists our elected officials in there. And it's a cool thing for the kids to learn more about the city, and I'm going to go read this to several students throughout the city in the next couple weeks. So I'm excited to do that, and I want to thank our very creative staff at the communications department for creating this really cool coloring book, and we're going to be passing these out to the students at the schools that I visit. Friday, March 6th is Employee Appreciation Day. So I'd like to thank all the hardworking employees of the city of Westland. Your commitment and dedication does not go unnoticed, and I know everybody up here really appreciates all your hard work. Speaking of commitment and dedication, I'd like to congratulate Public Services Director Ramzi El-Gharib and Neighborhood Services Director Hassan Saab on their upcoming retirement later this month. They have a combined 80 years of experience working in government. We've been very fortunate to have them as part of Team Westland for more than a decade. So I want to thank them both and wish them the best in their retirement. With that being said, we'll have some new hires that we are working on, and I want to just let City Council know that we've put offers in to fill those positions. And if they're accepted, I look forward to introducing you to our new staff in the next few weeks. Our annual Terry Packard Dog Vaccination Day will be held on March 21st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at City Hall. Westland residents can get their dog vaccinated for just $25, microchip for $20, and purchase your 1- or 3-year dog license. Dog vaccinations are free for Westland veterans with veteran ID. This event is limited to the first 250 dogs, and it's a very popular event, so I would suggest showing up towards the beginning of the event at 10 a.m. I'd also like to invite everyone to our first annual Easter egg hunt on Thursday, April 2nd from 10 a.m. to noon at J.C. Park, located at 6200 North Wildwood. We'll have an Easter egg hunt, face painting, pictures with the Easter Bunny, and more. Registration is required and limited to the first 150 children. You can register at cityofwestland.com or call 734-722-7620. And that's everything I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything from the city attorney's office this evening?
Good evening. It's always good to be with you all. I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. We will now begin council comments, and we'll hear first from Councilwoman Andrea Rakowski.
Thank you, Council President. Oddly enough, I have nothing to share this evening, so short and sweet. We'll see everyone in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. We will now hear from Councilwoman Melissa Sampe.
All right, thank you so much. I want to start out first by saying happy birthday to my son Gavin, who celebrates his 19th birthday tomorrow. I talked about him a lot last year because he graduated, but just giving him a quick shout out. He sometimes watches these meetings and he'll critique me. He has a speech class at Schoolcraft, and he recently was showing Councilwoman Rakowski. He's like, yeah, look at, I can speak too. My mom talks a lot, but I'm getting there. And I also want to wish his beautiful girlfriend, Danielle, an 18th birthday. She celebrates it the following week. So a lot of March birthdays. So thank you for having March birthdays and sharing March birthdays. Mr. Warren, thank you for coming on your birthday. I'm shocked that you're here, but we love seeing you. So I hope that I hope that you are spoiled and you guys go out to dinner or do something fun after this. Ray Schuholtz, our disabilities advocacy, it's such a mouthful, concern committee chair, him and I recorded a PSA, and I was hoping to see him here because I know he wanted to talk about it, but March is Disabilities Awareness Month, and I did bring forward that resolution just to recognize those that have disabilities. In April, we have an event coming up, which I'll talk about in a minute, but just wanted to recognize those that are just dealing with things. I feel like we're all different, but I wanted to bring that forward as I have year over year. Also, I wanted to wish a Women's History Month to everyone that is a woman in Westland. A lot of women here in our city make history, so I just wanted to say that we are making history because this is the most amount of women on the dais. So ever. So this is historic. So it's great to be on the dais with women, but again, we are making history, which is pretty awesome. And I wanted to congratulate the amazing athletes here in Westland. So there's just been so much great things coming out of John Glenn and Wayne Memorial. So congratulations to the girls and boys bowling team. They had many state qualifiers over the weekend. The Wayne Memorial High School boys basketball team won their district championship, and the John Glenn wrestling team had several district champions, including 2 women wrestlers that were district champions. I spoke to Coach Polk, and I know that he is very supportive of Westland, but he's really excited because he believes that especially the women will be going to states and they're going to place. So I just want to send them a huge congratulations for all the great work that you guys are doing in making John Glenn and Wayne Memorial look awesome. So congratulations and great work, everyone. I wanted to just plug 2 events. The first one is the Westland Goodfellows and the Westland Fire Department. They are doing a fun Easter event. We have 170 children pre-registered for our Easter event on Saturday, March 21st. It's from 11 to 1 at Fire Station 2. You can meet the Easter Bunny. We're going to have Easter egg hunts, games and activity, food and prizes. This is open to everyone, but due to the size of parking, we are actually going to stagger it in times. So we are asking everyone to pre-register ahead of time and come out and enjoy some fun and food and fellowship and bring your family out. The last thing I wanted to plug in honor of Autism Acceptance Month is a fun event that we're doing, the Autism Community Day and Walk. It's on Saturday, April 25th from 3 to 6 p.m. It is over at Tatton Park. And last year, I think we had about 250 people, but we've had some amazing interests from families and people that wanted to be involved. So I think we're going to have about 400 people in attendance. This is completely free, so we're going to have resources, we're going to have food, we're going to have our police and fire out there, there's going to be a dog and bounce house, and we're going to have some other surprises, so some characters and possibly some pictures. So we have a great committee. I wanted to thank Kyle Mulligan for supporting this event, but we have some amazing sponsors that have jumped on to make this completely free for families. So last year, we had food trucks, and everyone got to leave with a ton of food, and we actually have had such a good response that we're going to do that again. So food's going to be free. So come on out, bring your family. The main thing that we're doing this is to make people feel comfortable around those that are different. And those families that possibly struggle bringing out their special needs family member, there's no judgment. There really is not. It's just everyone can come out and have a good time. There's going to be a sensory area for those that need to remove themselves and just have a little quiet. So this is going to be a huge event, and I really, really hope that people can come out and support and just know that we all are different in some way. And with that being said, thank you for plugging our police and fire department, Ms. Wilson, and I'm really sorry at the loss of your neighbor, but thank you for giving them kudos because I know that we don't do it as often. We really do have an amazing police and fire department. So we'll see everyone at our next meeting on Monday, March 16th here, 7 p.m. We invite residents to come out. I know that the council president probably is going to promote our visioning session, so I won't go into detail on that, which is coming up in a few weeks. But with that being said, just be safe and kind with one another, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sampe. We will now hear from Councilman Sullivan.
Thank you, Council President. Just one quick plug for the Westland Historical Society. They are having a Dine to Donate fundraiser next Wednesday, March 11th at Texas Roadhouse. So please go get your delicious steaks next Wednesday from 3 to 10. 10% of your bill will go to the Westland Historical Society. Just mention the fundraiser, and they will make sure that those proceeds get to them. So I encourage everyone, please go to the Texas Roadhouse next Wednesday, March 11th. Happy birthday, Mr. Warren. Great to see you here. Shocking that you'd show up on your birthday. You're always here, Art, and we're just kidding with you. All right, and then I also just wanted to mention, I'm sad to see Ramsey and Hassan leaving. They have a lot of knowledge. I've known both of them for many years, and it's going to be hard to fulfill the knowledge and background that those two gentlemen have in public services. So looking forward to who the city's going to bring forward, and hopefully they can fill those shoes. But both of those gentlemen have worked hard for a long time in the field, and I wish them the best in their retirements. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Sullivan. We will now hear from Councilwoman Emily Bauman.
Thank you. So my first comment will, of course, be happy birthday to Mr. Warren. And of course, he's going to be here. He loves us. Why wouldn't he be here on his birthday? Just for what's worth. I also want to remind people that Dearly Departed at Inspire Theater is starting this weekend. It starts on March 6th, and it goes through March 22nd. So if you don't have your tickets, go to inspiretheater.com. I believe I'm going to double check myself. Yeah, probably inspiretheater.com, or I've got a QR code if you want to take a picture of this, and get your tickets for that. I actually will be at a couple of the performances to volunteer as well. The other one I want to mention is I've been connected with a nonprofit called SPN Survivors for a number of years, and their director was unable to come tonight, but March is a big month for them because SPN Survivors was created to bring awareness to mental health, to basically say mental health is everyday living. You know, mental health doesn't have to be something we do on one day or another day. It's literally everyday living. We've got to be taking care of our mental health. And it's, SPN stands for suicide prevention, so it's also about preventing suicide. I know a lot of people who have been touched by somebody that they know who has died by suicide, and the director herself, actually her nephew did, and this was part of her recovery, was to create this resource, this nonprofit that raises resources, both financial as well as materials, and one of them, the thing was Battle Buddies. So she had given this to me to just, you kind of hold on to it, and I'll tell you what, he's in my car all the time, so I'm a little battle buddy, so if there's something going on, I can just grab my guy. He takes after the Schoolcraft dogs, the new dogs at Schoolcraft, so. March is, one of the names that March for Hope is one of the hashtag March #4 Hope, and she used to have a volleyball tournament, but now she has switched to what they call Moving with Moose. And I am actually encouraging my council members to maybe create a team or something like that, or at least get involved, and anyone can get involved, where basically you just start tracking your moving every day, at least a mile a day, and you can actually participate in the program, or just really just at the end of the day, if people are moving on a daily basis, that's part of your self-care of your mental health, is to be moving, to be active, to, whether it's inside your house or outside your house, just get moving and be active, because when you start sitting and kind of not doing that, you're not doing good things for your brain and your body. So that's kind of want to talk about that, moving with those. And then the other one, I just wanted to remind everyone that daylight savings time starts again on Saturday. So we lose an hour. I know a lot of us, I told my kids, they're spoiled. Our cell phones take care of it for us. When I grew up, we had to change our clocks, and if we forgot, we were late. So anyway, that's about it. And I'll see you in 2 weeks, I believe. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilwoman Baumann. We'll now hear from Councilwoman Martin.
Hi there. I first want to give my condolences to the Chappelle family. Gary was a really kind soul and very kind to me, and my deepest sympathies. My second thing is, I'd like to ask Mr. Warren what anniversary of his 39th birthday is it? Happy birthday, Art. Over the weekend, the Rotary had a trivia. It was their 5th anniversary, which started out as a fundraiser, it's really turned into a fundraiser. And the winners this year were Vermilion Funeral Home, and the name of their team was 6 Feet Under, which made me laugh. And then the second winners were Mayor Coleman's team, but for some reason, somebody couldn't spell it, and they called him Major Coleman. So congratulations. News you can use, March 14th at Wayne Metro is hosting income tax help. So if you need some help, please show up at Jefferson Barnes Vitality Center at 321550 Dorsey Center, and it goes on from 12 to 3. And let's see, what else do I have here? I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and happy St. Patrick's Day. You Irish people, my husband was big. We started getting our Irish up at the beginning of March, not on the 17th. So thank you so much.
She's already wearing the green anyway. All right, we'll now hear from Pro Tem Maxwell.
Well, I must say happy birthday to Mr. Warren as well, even though he told me earlier, do not say it up here. So happy birthday, Mr. Warren. I'm excited about the daylight saving as well. I was excited driving in that it was still daylight at 6 o'clock. And I look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks. All right, have a good one.
Okay, thank you, Pro Tem. Few things for me tonight. Number one, happy birthday, Mr. Warren. So I'm going to pile on, even though I came up to you earlier and said it, but happy birthday again. As the mayor mentioned, City Employee Appreciation Day, we're very appreciative of all of our hardworking city employees across all the departments here. Not only just, the police and fire who do get recognized quite a bit, but everybody behind the scenes, from the clerk's office, the water and sewer department, DPS, and all of our clerical and administrative staff. We really thank them for all they do in keeping this city running and operating each and every day. So thank you very much, everyone, for what you do here in the city of Westland. And I do want to wish both our DPS Director, Ramsey Al Gharib, and our Neighborhood Services Director, Hassan Saab, the very best in their retirement. Ramsey, through multiple communities, some of you may know he worked for the city of Wayne prior to coming over and joining us here in the city of Westland. So he's had a long career in public service and as a civil engineer. And, we're going to miss his institutional knowledge here in the city. I'm going to miss my lively political discussions when I stop into Ramsey's office and talk about issues local, state, and federal. And, we're really going to miss him here in the city. And same thing with Hassan. As our neighborhood services director, Director Saab brought a lot of institutional knowledge to the city, to our ordinance team. So we're going to miss his work as well. But I feel confident in the mayor's picks and replacements for who is going to fill their shoes. So we wish them all the best in their retirement. Happy Women's History Month to everybody in Westland, but specifically to all of my colleagues up here on Westland and to our clerk. This is, as was mentioned earlier, very historic to have a majority woman council and a woman in the leadership position of our city clerk as well, for only the, I think, second time that we've had a woman clerk, right, or third? You and Eileen and... And Diane Fritz, that's right, Diane. Sorry, Diane, if you're watching, I apologize for forgetting about you. Don't get me in trouble. But no, this is historic, so happy Women's History Month to all of my colleagues up here and to those of you watching at home. I want to thank my colleague, Councilwoman Sampe, for her resolution for disabilities concerned. This is something we've done several years in a row now, and I'm always happy to support that. I want to thank my colleagues, Councilwoman Bauman and Councilman Sullivan, for helping lead the charge on the data center resolution and getting that done tonight, and all of my colleagues for voting in support of that. Myself and Councilwoman Rakowski had a discussion the other day regarding water rates. You may have noticed that we did not have that on tonight's agenda. That is going to be TBD. We have some more information coming to that I think will be better news for all of you as residents, hopefully, in the future. But I want to thank my colleague, Councilwoman Rakowski. She brought some questions about the Highland Park water situation, and we did get an email update from the city attorney's office that I'll be sharing with the council here. So thank you for bringing that up. Very much appreciate that, and thank you to the city attorney for the update on that. And I'll be sharing that with the council. Happy birthday to Gavin Sampe. Happy birthday to him. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about, and I feel like a broken record coming up here and saying this, because if you've watched me for the 6 years I've been on council, I've talked about this time and again. Once again, the Michigan Public Service Commission has approved a rate hike on all of us as ratepayers and as customers by DTE. This is the second rate hike that the Public Service Commission has approved this year alone for DTE on all of us. The first rate hike that they approved was a $242 million utility rate increase that will go on all of our bills. And that was approved at the beginning of February. And most recently, at the end of February, they passed another rate hike for DTE. And for all of us as consumers, that means about, on average, from some of the studies that I read, about a $4.93 per month rate increase. And it seems that time and again, DTE goes to the Public Service Commission asking for rate increases. Meanwhile, our grid only gets so much more reliable. When you look at studies from the Citizens Utility Board of Michigan, Michigan ranks 46 out of 51 in terms of overall grid reliability. This is largely thanks to DTE. We are 33rd in affordability average when ranked through all 50 states, and our environmental impact is a 30.3. So we get more expensive power and less reliability in our power. And we have to ask ourselves, why does this keep happening? How does DTE keep getting these rate increases on the Michigan Public Service Commission? Well, in my mind, from the research I've done and what I've seen, it's simple. DTE essentially owns too many of our politicians and too many of our state regulators that are on the Public Service Commission and tasked with keeping DTE in check, making sure not only that they don't get exorbitant rate increases, but that they're making the upgrades to our grid that they say they do. And I'll give DTE credit where credit is due. They have made a number of upgrades here in the city of Westland over the last 5 years. But that comes at the expense of 20 years of neglect on their part on our grid here in the community and across communities in Metro Detroit. Now, we're fortunate here in Westland to have two state representatives in State Representative Dylan Wagella and State Representative Peter Herzberg, who have rejected taking money from DTE and DTE lobbyists and consumers' energy and consumers' energy lobbyists. So I feel fortunate about that. But unfortunately, all too often in Lansing, there are politicians, including our very own governor, who don't reject DTE's money, including the former governor as well. And so there really has to be more that we do about that, not just collectively as your elected officials at every level of government speaking out against DTE's rate hikes and attending the Michigan Public Service Commission meetings, but, I think there really needs to be future legislative action regarding DTE and donations that they can make to campaigns for politicians at every level of government. We really need and truly need utility accountability here in the state of Michigan to better regulate the campaign donations that publicly regulated utilities like DTE and consumers often make. So I'm disappointed to see that the Public Service Commission approved yet another rate increase. This is, I believe, the fourth rate increase in the last 5 years, I want to say. So while I say I'm disappointed, I can also say that I'm not surprised, because we've seen this happen all too often. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us and your elected officials and public servants at every level to call this out, to reject taking money from DTE and Consumers Energy and other publicly regulated utilities. And then the last thing I did want to close out is the mayor mentioned, I too wanted to send my condolences to Gary Chappelle and his family and friends. Gary was a longtime active member in our community. He used to attend many of our city council meetings here and was very engaged, involved, asking pertinent questions, and of course, as the mayor mentioned, serving for many years on, I think, 2 or 3 different times on our library board. So my condolences, my thoughts go out to the family and friends of Gary Chappelle. And as always, if you need something from me, you can shoot me an email. You can find me on Facebook at Councilman Mike McDermott, or you can call or text me at 734-890-2146 on my cell phone. Is there a motion to adjourn?